Les Beaux Châteaux by Dorothy M. Marks. Finally off the phone, he turns to her. Do you remember that guy from White Plains who's been calling about old fountains? Do we have notes on that guy? Iris nods in the direction of his desk. Check the top of your pile. He sees a pair of well-heeled customers walking aimlessly. Iris intercepts them. He's hired her exactly for her American values, her know-how in customer service. When she sends him an arch look, he usually cleans up. Sometimes he thinks that Iris is the heart of Les Beaux Châteaux. He remembers when he hired her. Les Beaux Châteaux was limping along. He had minimum wage movers and a lackluster sales style. Though the product mix was relatively the same as it is now, there was no sense of place. New Yorkers didn't know what kind of store Les Beaux Châteaux was back then, and no one came in to investigate. Iris wandered in on the pretense of buying a mirror. She ambled around the store, waiting for JP's approach. He was clueless back then. Finally, she went to him and directed their conversation. She queried about his mission and vision in the community. He'd never considered these ideas. Public relations and profile? What? Neither he nor the store could afford PR anything. And staging? How? What? Even without the cost of PR or advertising or community outreach, he was bleeding cash and had been for more than a year. Soon their conversation got cozy. He learned about her family antiques business in Savannah, Georgia. He tried not to let on that he had no idea where Savannah was. Facile Iris put him at ease. Savannah's a backwater, but it used to be a historic hub in the South. She left LBC that day without a purchase or a promise. He couldn't afford an experienced sales manager like Iris, but he knew that he couldn't afford not to hire her. 2 weeks later, she and Dolly, her Weimaraner and new store mascot, closed the deal when he hired her. He resigned to pay himself minimally and slept on a cot in the back for years until their profits grew enough so he could afford an apartment off-site. There had been a few unsalesmanlike episodes before Iris created the Les Beaux Châteaux script. JP once told a belligerent customer to shop at Sears, where cheap crap is one size fits all. Maybe JP was, as Victor said, irreverent. Iris proclaimed that there was no place in sales for bad manners. She came from the school of get it done, American marketplace etiquette, her specialty. Iris's campaign that French antiques should be lauded and marketed to the richest financiers in the Wall Street orbit, and she set out to be noticed by decision-makers in that culture. Soon, Les Beaux Châteaux and JP were hosting exclusive cocktail parties for various high-profile causes, such as the marriage equality movement and Artists Without Homes, and eventually he hosted a quarterly professionals happy hour for interior designers, by invitation only. Les Beaux Châteaux became a haven for arts and human rights-affiliated events. He donated prized French artifacts du jour, kitchen sinks if kitchens were in vogue, or chandeliers if living rooms were featured on design magazine covers. It was a strategy that Iris never rushed, yet executed to perfection. Decor, lifestyle magazines, and blogs began to follow JP and Les Beaux Châteaux, and word spread to all the right influencers. Iris's culture and processes were well worth his own stripped-bare sacrifices. She created the destination, Les Beaux Châteaux, helping the meatpacking district as well as the High Line emerge as Manhattan's hippest neighborhood. JP was quick to surrender cultural sway of Les Beaux Châteaux to Iris. The store went from the school of anything goes to organized. Iris's mastery designed mini stage sets throughout the store, arranging a period vanity with a sexy nightgown, a silver cocktail shaker, and vintage highball glasses. She learned truck drivers' names, streamlining deliveries to customers' homes, and artifact transport from the port of Newark, the center of East Coast customs and entry. When anti-money laundering laws whipped panic into international banking, she calmed their bankers with personal familiarity. Antoinette, Victor's banker in Chartres, shared pictures of her grandchildren with Iris. In return, Iris sent pictures of Dolly. She saw cost-cutting and profits where JP didn't have the imagination to change unworkable habits. Iris's American efficiency combined with JP's French accent, poetically long hair, and honeyed voice made them a profit powerhouse. "Thank you, Johnny. I'll get back to you on this. Do your best, man. We've been selling this same stuff for years. I can't imagine why now, all of a sudden, they're worried about their heritage. Politicians are always changing the rules, eh?" "Yeah, right. Bye." Signing off, he joins the customers that Iris greeted. One is in her early 50s, and the follower is mid-30s. Sizing them up, he names the leader Big Diamond. Fabric swatches are escaping from her tote along with paint chips, architectural plans, and a measuring tape. A dazzling diamond ring sits so high on her hand that it catches and drags tools out of her bag. He clears his throat and sends out his cultured sales voice. "Hello, ladies. May I show you something special today?" Remembering the wide north wall, a perfect location for the stone fountain being unloaded, he walks them toward a wrought iron console sitting snugly in the shadowy corner. Diamond Ring answers, "We're just looking. I'm not exactly sure what we want." Pretty but Quiet, JP's name for her accomplice, nods in agreement. "Well, don't let me get in your way. I don't know what you want either, but I'm sure that you'll find it here at Beaux Châteaux. I have hundreds of these." He turns and picks up a porcelain hand mold for gloves. A pile of hundreds of these are jumbled in a galvanized trough. Behind the trough stands a Wisconsin summer camp totem pole made from birch bark. Are you perhaps outfitting a boys' summer camp? If so, I have just the thing. Both Diamond Ring and Pretty but Quiet smile. Mostly we carry things French. Well, I guess you know that, right? They nod. Do you know the work of Edgar Brandt? Fer forger artisan? He reaches for a well-thumbed book sitting on the shelf of the iron console. He flips the book to a page showing Edgar Brandt's most famous iron staircase in a beautiful Art Deco room. Diamond Ring's eyes light up. Yes, something special like that. Well, not a staircase, but a magnificent piece like that is just what we need for the foyer. Pretty but Quiet nods again. Looking around, JP feigns ignorance of the inventory. Let's see. Gesturing for them to follow, he walks across a bridge from one showroom to another. Dozens of vintage sinks line one row, large wooden stands with spikes angling off to hold and dry wine bottles, large school chalkboards with wooden frames, a few wooden school desks, and stacks of stained glass elements line the aisleways. To the right, another trough brimming with printer's type, and to the left, a second trough full of hundreds of glass doorknobs. Baskets hang low among light fixtures and street signs from cities around the world that dazzle the eye. Several gravestones lean against the wall next to the church pews and giant crucifixes. Like a mama duck teaching ducklings about the world, he traverses the entire 60,000-square-foot showroom with the blondes in tow. He leads them to the basement and back to the north wall, full circle. Okay, you can stop me any time when you see the perfect thing for your foyer. Pretty but Quiet asks, "Where did you get all this stuff?" JP laughs. "I've been on the hunt all of my life. My dad did this as a hobby in France, of course. We've been buying this stuff together since I was in short pants. My dad, Victor, is the real mastermind of this outfit. He's selected and purchased every item in this place. He's driven on a quest for rarity, curiosity, antiquity, but more than anything, beauty. He knows beauty. So, you like fer forger? Did you notice this piece?" Big Diamond's brow furrows. She fishes eyeglasses out of her bag, along with another fabric sample clinging to her ring. Looking carefully, they approach the console. JP runs his hands over the iron roses and rests it on a splendidly wrought leaf. You know that ironmongers have their own special recipes for the metal they fashion. Some like the iron to be dark, or red, or shiny, or green. Like bakers, or, say, ceramicists, with their secret recipes, these guys kept their secrets locked away. This piece in particular is dazzling. It does everything you want in wrought iron. Wait, do you know the difference between wrought iron and, say, pressed iron? Seduced by sales magic, the blondes are wide-eyed yet silent. JP's knowledge has them riveted, like children at story time. All of these shapes, these roses, branches, thorns, leaves, these are hand-wrought. No press or form or template makes these. Oh, no. These are heated to white hot, then beaten on an anvil into these realistic shapes. And this branch, see how it goes from chocolate brown to black? That's entirely intentional. This artisan has such control over his materials. This is made by a master. It's not signed Edgar Brandt, but I'm guessing that it comes from his forge." The blondes lock eyes in approval. JP steps away. It's a very big piece. Few homes or apartments can accommodate this size. It's been in the showroom for several years. Too long. Iris has perfect timing. She and Dolly approach to tell JP that there's a call for him. She's got perfect timing. "Excuse me, ladies, I have to attend to this. If you have any questions or want to know about any of our antiques, we're here to help." Big Diamond asks, "How much is the console?" JP reaches toward the console, flipping over the tag that he wrote. He knows exactly what it says. 30,000. But let's see if it's exactly what you want. We can accommodate you. I love this piece, and I want it to go to the perfect place." JP, Iris, and Dolly walk back to the desks. "I'll figure out the best lighting for the fountain on that wall," Iris says. "I'll call the guy in White Plains and have it displayed when he comes in." JP congratulates himself for giving Iris so much room to thrive. She's a great strategist. The blondes begin measuring. Victor hangs up again. Damn JP, why doesn't he pick up? He moves a pile of auction flyers and bank notices from atop his calendar. He reviews the auctions for the next week, then pulls out his well-worn Michelin road map and opens the mapping software on his computer. Victor used to live in the 11th in Paris, but that location made getting out of town so aggravating, not to mention time-consuming. His big truck lumbered down the ancient city streets, just barely squeezing through, and the cobblestones messed with the suspension on his dear truck.